Today's review, we're going to North Brewing and their annual release of Paria. This is an IPA, 6%. But what's it going to be like? Keep watching to find out. Welcome back to Rocker's Beer Review. Today we're going to North Brewery and this is a brand new beer from them. It's part of their Paria selection. What do you call it? It's Paria edition. There we go. It says here it's a juiced up IPA celebrate our 8th annual cycling sportive Paria Paperboy. So that's the thing. This year's edition has been hopped with Muteca, Talus and Citra, refreshing and super tropical. Now, I say Muteca, and someone commented on my post a little while ago about my pronunciation of Muteca. I've always called it Muteca. When I actually look at it, I think it's Mutueka. That doesn't sit well on the mouth to me. So I'm going to keep calling it Muteca. People can take the piss out of me all I want, because let's face it, it doesn't matter. But this has got barley and oats and hops and all the stuff that you expect. It's 6%. It's a hazy IPA and it's from North. I think North don't get enough love, to be honest. As it almost explodes here. I like I think their supermarket beers are very consistent. And if I see any of their other beers that aren't supermarket beers, I usually try them because I always think they're pretty good. I always remember that time they had that beer which was a sort of it was a collaboration, and it was with Blind Curve or something like that, and it had Sabra in it. It was one of the first beers I had with Sabra. It was amazing. It was in Tesco's. I wish that some of those supermarket beers of old were still around, because some of them were really great. But this beer, great aroma already. Let's just top it up a little bit. Quite lively. You can see they're very loose, bubbly head there. It's not your normal sort of, it's not a thick sort of head, so that's dissipating very quickly. But colour-wise, look at that. Beautiful, lovely yellowy sort of, to that level of not quite custard. It's got a bit more of an orange tinge to it. I'm holding it to the light here. You can see that though in the light. Looks pretty good. It's just a shame about that head, really. It looks quite overly carbonated, but sometimes you get all that carbonation post up there, and then when you actually drink the body of the beer, it's quite soft. So, let's see what the aroma's like. Oh yeah, smells really good. Very citrusy, lemons and limes. Grapefruit. What else did it say? Talus is... I won't say Talus is very big. You said that Muteca you definitely get. See, I am saying it now. Muteca, you can definitely smell that in there. But it's very New Zealandy in terms of its aroma. So you'd almost think there was other stuff in it as well. But the Muteca is more than lime. It's got more of those sort of guava, that lemongrass. Smells pretty inviting though. So let's drink it. Cheers, everyone. Wow. Flavour-wise, it's great. Body-wise, it's really carbonated. Much more, I mean, you can see there, the head has literally disappeared. I've had a few issues with beers I've had recently. I don't know, I'm starting to get worried that it might be Trembling Madness, because I had one of their beers that I've asked for a refund and got it without any problems, which was a beer that I was really looking forward to. I'm not even going to review it, but it looked terrible, and it looked like a little bit like this. But the flavour was all off and it was just all wrong. And this one, in the glass, I don't know whether it's the glass. I mean, the glass is pretty clean. It looked pretty clean. It's not as if I've had another beer out of it. But you can see when it sits in the glass, it's weird like that. And it's weird because the flavour. Tastes pretty good. But it's very fizzy. It tastes almost like a pale ale, but a fizzy pale ale at that. And it sort of does ruin a little bit the whole beer, because you don't expect an IPA, a hazy IPA. You want softness. You want it to be smooth. You want to get that flavour and them to coat your tongue. But when it's fizzy, it sort of zips around the mouth, and the flavour's all a little bit all over the place. But let's go through the flavour. Lots of citrus. Like the aroma, there's lots of lemons and lime flavours in there. Grapefruits as well. The talus is very subtle in this beer. Sometimes talus can be a little bit dominant, but it's subtle in terms of it's sort of there. But if I didn't know it was in it, I probably wouldn't guess it was in it, if that makes any sense. For me, talus is all about a very floral, very sort of, I always compare it to Turkish Delight. It's very much like that for me. Rose petals, very sort of, well, as I say, flowery, floral, you know. But you're not really getting that with this. You are getting, but then there's a subtleness comes in really on the back end. And talus being a bit like Sabro, you're getting a little bit of those hints of Sabro. So you're getting a little bit of, almost like a little bit of coconut coming through. Pineapple as well. I think the fizziness makes it more pineapple-y for some reason. But yeah, it's a really nicely flavoured, fruity, refreshing citrus with a nice crisp sort of bitterness bite on it. But if the body was better, and I don't know if it's just how these cans have transported, because as I said, I've had a few of these beers that are not quite up to some. I had another one which I didn't review actually. I'm thinking about it now. I've got my list here. I don't want to put people off Trembling Madness because they've always done good stuff. They've given me the money back when I've had an issue with a beer, and the delivery's fast and the prices are good. But this one, I had an Azfest one which I reviewed. That was too fizzy as well. Bit strange. I had ones that I drank, but I haven't drank, but I haven't reviewed them. Well, there was a Popular Polly's. They were both really good, actually. I should have reviewed them. The other one was a New Zealand. Oh, is it on there? Yeah, a New Zealand IPA by Pentrick, and that was really weird tasting as well. I don't know if it's just this batch of beers. I don't even think it's like my taste buds, like whether I've got like a bit of a cold or my taste buds are not there, because the flavour's there, but it's the body is just really lacking. And I don't know if that can be due to how it is sitting in the can. It could change the body. I don't know. I'm guessing there. Maybe it doesn't, because usually if you get a strange beer because it's oxidized, you're usually going to get flavours going to be the first thing that suffers. But as you say, the body of this beer, it looks like in the glass, it almost looks like a sour beer or something like, or a gose or something like that, because there is literally not even no head on there, and it's quite clean. There's no lacing of the glass or anything, and I find that a bit strange. A little bit disappointing because the flavour is all there. There's loads of flavour, but it just needs to be not fizzy, basically. Whether that is the actual beer itself, I don't know. So if you have had this one, let me know. I don't think this is I think a lot of people, certainly YouTubers, we are sort of sticking to what we know is good, But beers going up in price, and even as a YouTuber, we want to do lots of different beers, but we get more views as a YouTuber for our supermarket beers, so we will review those because we want that. The ego drives us forward to want more acceptance and more views and all clicks, and we're all in that sort of thing, like some sort of episode of Black Mirror. But at the same time, the ones that we do like, so the ones like your Cloudwaters and your Bollies and your Azvecs and your Dayas and Overtones and Tracks and people like that, you'll see more of those. But things like this, you don't necessarily see. And so I don't know if anyone else has how many people actually drink it. But if you have had this, please let me know if you think it was a bit fizzy, or whether it's just my conversion. If you've poured it out and it's looked like that or not, obviously you're going to have a different glass, but this is a pretty good glass. It's a solid, what do you call it? It's got a solid bottom to it, if that makes sense. It's there's a word for it that completely has lost me now, but it's a solid sort of solid glass, where usually you would still get a nice sort of fairly solid head for an IPA, but you're not getting. I'm whipping it up and I'm still, look at the bubbles there. you almost get that with a dirty glass as well. So it's a weird one. Let me know if you've had it before. I'm going to try and score this one because the flavours are there, just the body just isn't there. It's sort of letting it down. But that's going to mean the overall experience score is going to be down. But the flavour and the aroma was pretty good. Yeah, so that's going to be pretty good as well. And this beer, I might as well tell you, means I've got the list. Yeah, $4.85. I think that's good value for a 6% IPA. And they say North makes good beers. They really do. And so when they make something a little bit more extraordinary, I just think that they don't get the sort of the accolades that they deserve. But this is a good flavoured beer, let down by the body, and that's either due to the glass is dirty or something wrong with the glass, which seems strange. The condition of the beer as it's been delivered or where it's been sitting has affected the beer. Or it's just this beer. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you've had it. Please let me know. I'm interested to know because I'm starting to worry about some of these beers now. And I'm thinking now I've got to buy them more fresh than they are. So yeah, what's the date on this one while I'm talking about it? Oh, some of these prints on the back of there you can't read. Best before 12/11. So I'm presuming that's the 12th. Yeah, 14th for the 5th. It was canned. 12th for the 11th. So yeah, 6 months. It seems to be a lot of these beers these days. So May, we're in sort of end of June now. So yeah, that's pretty fresh, I'd say. But I don't know whether it's the way that these travelled. Maybe the delivery guys dropped the box about 3 times and juggled it and did all kinds of weird stuff. Went over loads of speed bumps and potholes and stuff, and that's why some of these beers are a bit off. But yeah, I'm not sure. We'll see with the rest of the beers. But otherwise, it could mean that I'm going to start going back to Prost, even though I've got to travel quite a way to get there now, because yeah, because I know that the quality is always going to be good. So let's get some scores. Okay, the scores are in for North's Paria. And it says North X Paria because Paria is the sort of collaboration, but it hasn't only got a name then. Is it called Paria? I'm going to call it Paria, and I'm going to say because it's got a big P on it as well. So yeah, I think that's what it's called. Hazy IPA, 6%. Citra, Mutueka, and Talus. Nice level of hops, good flavour, disappointing body. So let's go for the score. Start with aroma, appearance, flavour. Value for money, I said $4.85, and my overall experience. Tighten the score up due to the fact that flavour's nice. There's aroma in there. Yeah, it's a nice tasting beer, but it's just the body's really letting it down, and it looks a bit strange in the glass. So total score, it's recommended, lower end of the recommended. I think that you could buy 5 cans of this from 5 different places and you might get a different beer. I don't know. I'm just having all these weird feelings at the moment about some of these beers that I've had, and wondering if there's something to do with the way it's been stored or the way it's travelled. I don't know. Let me know if you've had any experiences of that with recent deliveries, especially if it's from Trembling Madness. But I fear it could be, it could be Parcel Force, whoever's delivering them. It could be the problem. So let me know if there are any problems with that. We bought a big box of beer and nothing's really, all seemed a bit off, not quite right. Let me know in the comments. And until the next one, well, you know what you do. Drink good craft beer and keep on rocking.